fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Show here. And now, whenever we last left off with this series, we had Izuku Midoriya. And well, quite a bit of things have happened. Now, Deku and his familia, they've just gotten back from their quote-unquote internship. Now, Deku and his familia, they worked together for the 2 weeks of the internship training. And Deku, yeah, he has shown more growth, along with his familia even starting to show their own fruit of training. Now, Reborn is very proud of them. However, he does know that Deku, he still does have something eating away at him. Deku's been trying to hide it, but he can tell. He's the world's greatest hitman after all. Being able to read a person is nature to him. Now, he knows that Deku is hurting. He lost people he considered to be friends. He may not have been close to him, but he still would have given his life for them, because that is what a hero would do. Now, with that being said, everybody has returned to their places, and Deku, he did talk to Ida in the last part. Now, with that being said, we do actually currently have today. It's been a few days since the whole internship went on. And Deku, yeah, he's been somewhat okay since. He still does have those thoughts. Kill Shigaraki, kill Shigaraki. And, well, he's not really too sure what to do. Now, he does want to approach Reborn on the subject. However, he doesn't know how. Hey, Mr. Reborn, I'm thinking about murdering somebody. Yeah, he's pretty sure Reborn would give him advice. Sure, it would be good advice, but he doesn't know if that's what he does need. He's got conflicting emotions on all of it. And, well, conflicting thoughts. Now, with that being said, Deku today, he does head home. As he does drive home on his bike, and go up to his room. As he does sit down and begin to start thinking. He can't talk out loud right now. They might be monitoring him. This whole life as a mafia boss. This is not as, well, good as he thought. He's being trained to be a replacement. Is it just because of that? Convenience? There's got to be more to this. Now, with that, Deku, he is going over everything in his head, trying to find out what exactly is wrong. There's something there. He can't piece it together, though. Now, Deku, yeah, he will be left with these thoughts. And we actually will cut up to about the heroes versus villains, where it's Deku and Bakugo against All Might, the symbol of peace. Now, Deku, yeah, he knows that this fight may not be too good. And there actually is one where he does go to look at Bakugo, and Bakugo does look at him. They need to work together on this. Otherwise, they're gonna fail. Now, Deku and Bakugo would have heard about the weights. And Deku, he would have actually thought of a plan with those. Those weights are what keeps All Might slowed down. His speed is reduced by, at least 30% to somewhere around 5. With how physically powerful All Might is, those weights probably won't even do anything if he does use his full power. Now, Deku's clearly trying to think of a plan. They can't face him head on. They have to run. And Deku could at least try to provide a bit of a distraction. Bakugo does not have his ring here. He doesn't have his box weapon here. He can't use his flames. He can only rely on his quirk in this battle. Now, with that being said, we actually do have Reborn, who he is also watching the battle as well. And he's wondering exactly what their plan is going to be. Now, with that being said, we actually do have Deku and Bakugo. As soon as these two are left alone, Deku does immediately start going over everything, popping 2 pills into his mouth as is, talk to Bakugo about how something strange is going on. Now, Deku would bring up his hand and he does pull out his earbud, and go to turn it off, talking to Bakugo, telling him to do the same thing. Bakugo doing the same thing, as Nezu's kind of confused that their comms are turned off. Now, Reborn does know what Deku's doing. He's, well, got to be asking a few questions, or at least trying to reassure himself of a few things. Now, we actually do cut back over to Deku and Bakugo. For Deku, he's asking Bakugo if he has any idea how they can take down, or at least distract All Might. And Bakugo, yeah, he's trying to come up with something himself. One of the few ideas he would have is, well, just going straight up and going head first into battle. The idea would be that he could take down All Might in single combat. In reality, though, he doesn't feel like that would be feasibly possible. Now, Deku would tell Bakugo that he understands that. All Might's an enemy they can't take down physically. However, they might be able to actually outsmart him. Outsmart him? I mean, yeah. I looked into it a bit before. All Might's track record for intelligence is something to go off of. But, well, when it comes to fighting, he's at least very, I'd say, feasible in it. If we use complicated tactics, then he won't be able to keep up with us. He'll be too busy hesitating and trying to understand what's happening. Meanwhile, we'll already be on the offensive or attacking. So, what do you think? Okay, I get it. Now, Deku would explain his plan to Bakugo, as the two do head to the location, and they do put the earbuds back in, and go to turn them on. Now, we do actually have Deku and Bakugo, who are both standing there in Ground Zero. Or I believe it's Ground Zero. I'm not too sure where these tests take place, actually. Now, Deku and Bakugo would look at each other, and Deku, he would go to nod. As Bakugo, he does get ready. Now, Deku, yeah, he does go to bring up his hand and go to pocket, or at least put 3 pills in his mouth. As Deku, he does have the flame light on top of his head, as his super intuition does somewhat heighten. Now, Deku, he does continue. He knows that he just did extend his time limit, and he needs to be more and more careful. Now, he does go to get ready. As the match does begin, Deku does immediately go to blast up high into the air, while Bakugo, he does go blasting to the right. Now, at this point, All Might will go to throw his large punch, as we actually have Deku, who he's up high, and Bakugo, yeah, he's starting to blast his way through and make his way around many, well, different buildings. Large ones that could withstand All Might's at least sheer shockwave from the punch, not a direct hit. Now, All Might, yeah, he's quickly starting to go on the move, and he's trying to find both of these two. As we actually over Bakugo, he does go to, well, turn to his right and run into an alleyway, as All Might did come around the corner. As Bakugo, or All Might did go to run by the corner, Bakugo, yeah. He did just duck down behind a trash can. As All Might, he does come walking up and looking around. As he does go to walk by the trash can, we actually have Bakugo, who does go to bring his hands up and does go to blast All Might directly in the air. All Might going to spin around and is going to punch Bakugo directly out of the alleyway. As he's kind of confused, spinning back around expecting Midoriya to go on a sneak attack. As we actually have a buff, where Deku, he does aim his hand downwards and go to aim his hand behind him. All Might's looking around. He can't see where the boy is. Now, we do actually have Deku, who he's on the other side of this large building. And Deku is trying to think. There's Bakugo right there. Okay, so align his thumb. There it is. Put your palm together, and him doing a large X burner. Now, Deku, as he does fire off a large X burner, the blast does fly through the building, as it does cut into the alleyway and blast right in front of All Might. Now, as it does happen, Deku actually is going to move his hand down to the right. It is going to move his other hand to account for the new adjusted recoil. And everyone, they do watch that. As All Might, he does going to try to back out of the alleyway as Deku does continue to blast. Before he does going to put more power into his left hand, he does going to swing downwards and directly fly down to the ground. As this happens, Deku does going to grab Bakugo and he does going to fly forwards. As Bakugo, he does actually stay looking over Deku's shoulder. Now, people are watching this. Those two, they had a plan? Now, as I was quite impressed. However, at the same time, he's just wondering how they were able to execute that properly. Now, there is actually Bakugo, who whenever he does think he does see All Might, Deku is actually going to move out of the way and dodge. As All Might, he does directly appear right in front of Deku, and he was going to swing down his fist to try and attack him. However, he was quite surprised. The boy just dodged out of the way of his attack. As Deku, he does go to actually turn around and fling Bakugo right at All Might. Now, Bakugo does go blasting in, as he does get directly into All Might's face. He does go to bring up his hand and pull one of his gauntlets. Him sending a large blast, as All Might is going to bring up his hand and smash directly into the gauntlet to break it. Now, Deku actually does spin around towards Bakugo, throwing his hand outwards and blasting backwards. As Deku does come in, he does think. He needs to get All Might. How can he take him down? The ribs. Now, as Deku does go blasting backwards, actually over Deku does go to bring his hand up. And he does clock All Might right in his weak spot. Now, All Might, he actually has to go recoiling in pain. And Deku, he would have seen that. As Deku does then go to bring up his other hand and directly punch All Might's center mass. Now, All Might actually has to start moving backwards. As Deku, he would notice that, and he does tell Bakugo that he found a weak spot. Now, everyone's quite surprised. All Might has a weak spot? Now, you do have Todoroki. He does think that it might be because of the Nomu, and it's kind of interesting. Now, he does just wonder though, that weak spot should have healed by now though. Even with Recovery Girl. A pre-existing injury maybe? Now, Deku is thinking the same thought. As Bakugo, he does look right at All Might. He does go to try and attack the other set of ribs. He is going to bring up his fist and go to blast out with his grenades. Deku going to bring up his hands and do a double X burner. As he does try at least to plant his feet and adjust it for where he can land with the recoil. Now, Deku, yeah. These two are blasting All Might. Deku punching him in his weak spot along with his left arm, as his outfit is beginning to start burning. Now, All Might does do one thing. If this does keep up, he's going to shrink down. His weak spot is getting hurt. Along with that, there is the fact that people will see it. All Might actually setting himself flying backwards, and into their blast, as it does go smashing into a building. Now, Deku would actually go to turn and go to grab Bakugo by his shirt, as he does throw out his other hand and go to blast off. Now, we actually over Deku, he does just try to think. Okay, they actually started to win. They just need to attack that spot more and maybe they can actually get out of here. Possibly even secure a proper win against him. Maybe the number one hero isn't as strong as they do think. Or maybe they're just stronger. Now, we actually have for Deku, he does go to fly across the finish line, as he was still thinking that thought. Now, Deku, he does go to actually look behind him. There's no All Might. Wait a minute. Deku bring up his hand and going to turn off his columns, as Principal Nezu does announce that they have won. Now, Bakugo, he actually is going to bring his hands up, as he's cheering that they just beat him, they won. They knocked out All Might. Deku bringing his hand up, he does just point towards his ear. Bakugo looking confused, he does see the expression on Deku's face. Okay, that's not too good. Now, Deku would explain to Bakugo that they didn't win. All Might lost on purpose. Wait, what? Trust me, it doesn't make sense to me either. I've put it together a bit. My blast in the alleyway, I didn't hit him directly, yes. But then there's that punch I threw. I felt something different. You know how I've been struck in the ribs and you've been struck in the ribs during combat training? Yeah? I think he's injured. Okay, but it's probably from... No, it's not from that. Trust me. I think it might be from something previously. Really? Yeah. I mean, it would explain it. We started attacking that spot and he immediately gave up the match. My blast was hurting him. Do you think that he might have a weakness there? A weakness? What are you talking about? It just... My instincts are telling me he's weakened. And that's not too good. He's... well... not All Might anymore. He's still All Might. I understand that, but he's not the one we think he is. Wait, so you're saying if we get caught, we might actually be able to beat him? Maybe. This changes a lot, though. The heroes, without All Might, they'd be pretty weakened. We could have a good chance at taking control. And, now, Deku's gonna think. As we do actually have All Might, who he's trying to stay hidden under a pile of rubble. That attack that boy did do. The moment he found his weak spot, he abused that power. That was in his hands. So, that wasn't too good. Now, All Might does just think, however, that was a good tactic, but against him, he hated it. Now, with that being said, everyone else's final exams would proceed as normal. As we actually have Vengola 9, who, he would have received the footage and saw what was happening. Quite surprised to see that All Might had a weak spot. Now, with the final exams done with, we actually do have Deku, who, after school is all said and done with, he does go to leave. As we actually go for, he does feel something wrong. He does go to turn towards the door. Now, Deku, he is just trying to think. That was weird. That feeling he just had, it didn't seem right to him. Now, Deku was just thinking about it. That felt very off. Now, he does get to leave the school, as that feeling does not go away. What is this? Okay, something's clearly wrong here. Now, Deku does decide that he might have to use his flames if it does come to it. the Vingola's super intuition, it could help him out here. So, that's what he does have to do. Now, Deku, he does go to bring his hand up and go to grab two of the pills out of his jacket. As he does go to put them in his mouth and then go to put on his gloves. Now, Deku, as he's currently out in the parking lot, he is looking around. And he is just trying to think. Okay. That feeling he did just have couldn't be good. So, where are you? Where are you? Now, Deku, he is looking around. As we actually do have where he does go to spin around and go to bring his hand up for an attack. As he does see... Oh, Chaco? Now, Deku's caught off guard. As he does go to step backwards, asking exactly who the hell is she? Don't you recognize me? You're not her. She's dead. Oh, really? Come on now. You can't really think that. It's not possible. Now, Deku is just taking a step backwards. As the Ochako look-alike, as Deku does think, does continue to step forwards. Come on, Izuku, come on. It's me. You don't have to worry. Now, Ochako does go to reach her hand out directly for Deku's face. And Deku just standing there somewhat stunned, as the hand he feels is very real. Now, Deku completely feels ice run down his back. It's real. This isn't some hallucination. This isn't his mind playing tricks on him. This is genuinely real, isn't it? Now, Deku is going to bring up his hand, asking how is she alive? Now, she has just informed Deku that that's quite a complicated story. However, for right now, she doesn't really feel like she can inform him of it. Now, Ochako, she does go to pull Deku into a hug, talking about how she's so thankful that he saved her. I saved you? Yes, you did. Now, Deku does look down, as he does go to turn the flames off on his hands and go to bring his hands down. Now, Deku's rational mind is, well, racing, and his Vangola's super intuition feels like it's being twisted. This is her, but it isn't, is it? This can't be right. Now, as it has happened, Deku actually does go to feel a sharp pain in his side, as he does go to look down and see a blade in his hip. Now, as Deku does look down to see that, you'd actually notice that she does go to pull the blade out, and Deku does go to bring up his fist, as he does go to bring it up and punch Ochako right in the chest, as she's flying backwards with her knife. Now, Deku does go to bring down his hand, as he does go to bring up his fist and go to seal the wound closed. Now, Deku actually does go to bring up his other hand to cover his mouth, as he does go to bring him up and bring up fist, saying exactly what the hell was that? Oh, nothing. Consider it to be a warning. A warning? Yes, a warning. You're interfering in things in the underworld. Along with that, you shouldn't be 10. 10. You know I'm Vengola, don't you? Yes, I did. I knew I would upset you. So that's why I came here. Now, Deku does start to grit his teeth, as he does just think, this bitch. Now, Deku's getting very angry, as we actually do have where somebody else has come along. And Deku, he's quite concerned. Since, well, all of a sudden he's in a parking lot. The next second he looks around and he's not. He's in a parking garage? No. Deku, he's trying to look around, trying to move and figure things out himself, as he does smash into a wall. Now, as Deku does, he does go to bring up his fist and go to smash through it. Watching as the concrete wall, it does quickly turn to ice, and he's left there somewhat stunned, looking around, as this hallucination does go to fade. Now, as it does happen, you do actually have for Deku, he does go to look down towards his jacket for UA, as he does go to bring his hand up and go to rip off the part that's covered in blood, as he does go to look at his shirt underneath and do one simple thing. He does just go to take off his jacket and then go to spin around his shirt, tearing open the back side of it as he does go to put on his jacket once again. Now, he knows that this will ruin a shirt, however, it's better than having a torn jacket and a spot covered in blood or exposing an open wound, as he's driving back home. Now, Deku does hop on his bike as he does go to bring up his phone, and he does go to call Reborn. Now, we do actually have Deku, he does get to a stoplight, as he does go to bring up his hand and tell Reborn that there's a problem, he was attacked. Now, Reborn, he's quite confused. They made a move already? Yes, Reborn, I got stabbed. Are you alright? Well, yeah, but I'm just in pain. Listen, it's pretty... I'm not bleeding too much, but I sealed the wound. Even then, there was another problem that's kinda got my head spinning. Now, Deku, he's dodging and weaving through traffic, as he is telling Reborn that one of the people, they looked exactly like Ochako Yuraka, the girl who died during the USJ. Now, Reborn, he's aware exactly why they must have done that, taking on the appearance of somebody close to Deku, and then attack him. Deku's super intuition would be in heavy amounts of confusion. Along with that, at least saying hello would be a good thing. The threats, they wouldn't know what they look like, so a familiar face is the most deceiving thing. Now, Reborn does hear the rest of the information. Ice, hallucinations, and, well, something else. This couldn't possibly be what he thinks it is. Now, he does just think that it may be another family that's currently in charge of the underworld, or at least trying to start a war with the Vengola. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.